actually take the time to break down what's really going on with him. And I feel like that's kind of a lot of what happens in our community. It's either one or the other. Either, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna go through this and you'll get through it, or you're just crazy, that's just how you are. That's not how it is. That's not how we should be addressing it. Mental health is the well-being of our psychological state of being.
It's a tremendous burden right now that we're facing. Right now, for example, the African American man, if we keep up at the rate that we're going right now, we're going to be extinct. I mean, it's leading to that.
With community trauma is that we don't realize and recognize the incidences that people are they're acting out and what they're doing as a mental instability. I think that again, we need to just have good conversations in a safe space about why people react and act and what's going on in our community, because a lot of the actions are a result of desperation, stress, anxiety, and these are all factors of mental health.
In the African American community, when it deals with like mental health, people take it as a joke. They, don't listen to the signs. They don't see the signs. They just ignore all the things that, a person can be showing them, whether it's, physically or them telling them like, hey, I have a problem, I need help, I'm depressed or something.
Anxiety, or like I start to panic, it scares me because it's like a feeling of not being in control of like your situation.
I felt alone and scared that I couldn't really reach out to get the help I wanted, due to the stigma that is attached to mental health in the Black community, and the reactions that I might get from them.
Suffer sometimes from anxiety and being overwhelmed. So as a work professional, I think it's really good to have a work-life balance. Make sure that you utilize different fitness things that or activities that can be going on, and try not to overconsume yourself with work, and make sure that you have a good work-life balance.
What is so much? And I feel like nowadays, in the current times and modern times, it's bad to be looked upon as like weak, because mental health, needing help, people think you're weak, people think you're crazy, people think you're not able to help yourself or sustain yourself. And I feel like that's something, as a Black person, we already have so many things on our back. Mental health or issues, whatever like that, is not something else that we need added on to us. It's going to ostracize us even more. It's going to
don't realize like the littlest things they say or do can really take a toll on your mental state.
The way that trauma affects us has kind of become normalized. So the things that we go through, and the way that we react to it has been normalized. So when people talk of mental health, a lot of the symptoms that we have, people say, oh, like, you'll get through it.
I mean, you just need to get down, pray, and you need to, talk to God one-on-one, and kind of like, oh, if you feel some type of way, just go to God, go to church, let God take it out of you, go get some holy water thrown on you.
And to actually go out and get help, a lot of, in my experience, a lot of people that I've encountered in our community, there's still that stigma that, mental health and therapy and things like that is a white people thing. And
You have to have some therapeutic work as well. You can't address an issue with PTSD by just taking certain medications. You have to be able to talk these things over, process them with a qualified clinician, psychiatrist, therapist.
Deficit disorders do exist. It's just like another thing that isn't talked about, like, in like Black families and in the Black community, if you're acting up, the first thing they're gonna say is like, oh, you need a whooping, or you need to just, handle that. Like, it's not, oh, let me go to the doctors, because there might be a reason behind it.
Learn about, recognize, and then begin to combat in order for us to really start to improve our mental state and health as a whole community.
Communities, more awareness brought, like maybe through television programming. Celebrities need to speak out more about mental illness and mental health, because that's who we look up to in today's time.
Conversation where we continue to talk about these things. People look at Kanye and, they either say he's crazy or he's a genius, but people don't actually take the time to break down what's really going on.
Kanye never really spoke up on his issues. It was kind of like, oh, we see Kanye's going through something. We heard he got checked in, but he never spoke up on, well, from my knowledge, he never spoke up on what exactly was wrong with him. So I feel like he should use his voice and his platform to speak up on what's going on.
I know who you can help if you could just sit and talk to them about their problems, actually listen to their problems, because
Deficit disorders do exist. It's just like another thing that isn't talked about, like, you know, in like black families and in the black community, if you're acting up, the first thing they're gonna say is like, oh, you need a whooping, or you need to just, you know, handle that. Like, it's not, oh, let me go to the doctors because there might be a reason behind this. But I feel like